Hi everyone, welcome to Photography Chat, Season 2, Episode 23. We're going to have Ariela on with us here shortly. We'll just wait to get her on, and then we'll get going with the chat. Hope everyone's doing great, having a good week. Let's see, let's get her on here. There she is. Okay. Hey everyone, thanks for popping in. Hopefully we'll get it going here. There we go. Oh.
My God, where do I put my phone?
Hello, Internet.
Okay. Is my internet sucky?
Your internet is a little chunky. Uh-oh. We see you, but you're buffering. Sorry, everyone. We're just having a bit of technical difficulty here. Okay, let's try again. Hey. Hello, Internet.
Is it still laggy? No!
It's a little bit laggy, yeah. Oh, maybe it's
Oh
it
dear.
might be good now. Okay, I think we're good.
Is this okay?
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes. Thank you. Thank you, internet, technology.
Yay, technology. It's such a bastard sometimes.
Oh man.
How's your day?
Tell me about it. Not bad. I'm on like my movie theater spree now that theaters are open.
Okay.
I don't know how you feel about this, but like I just watched Mortal Kombat.
So I didn't even know there was a new Mortal Kombat.
Well, I didn't find out till like 3 days ago. I'm so excited to be back in like movie theaters. I'm like, hey, give me any movie, I'll watch it.
I don't know if I'm ready for movie theaters yet.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still getting used to like how open everything is in Vancouver compared to like what I was living through in Toronto.
Right.
It's been big adjustment.
For
Uh,
sure.
yeah, we had brunch for the first time indoors on the weekend, and that was like the first time I'd eaten inside of a place in like over a year.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
What was that like for you? Was it weird?
Um, it was a bit weird, yeah, because it was just like you just kind of forget what it's like, I guess, to like be.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like, why is everyone in here and they don't have their masks on?
Oh, totally. I get that.
Is
Yeah.
this how we get the Rona?
So you get the
Yeah, but it was good. Like if you're in Vancouver, and you want a nice coffee and some tasty food, Nemesis opened up on Great Northern Way, and
Oh, yeah.
it's
I
pretty.
haven't been, but like I work in North Vancouver, so the one at the Polygon is like, oh, so good.
Yeah, I've never been to that one, but
Yeah.
I don't get out to North Vancouver very often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Let's say, have you been up to any photo adventures lately?
I just shot a roll today. Like I've been taking out my camera more often now that like the weather is really nice. And so I went to watch Mortal Kombat at the theater in downtown.
Okay.
So I never noticed it before, but like you're so high, like that building is so high up, like you actually get a really nice view of like the law courts. So
Is
I'm
that
like,
the one in Chinatown or?
no, 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 it's the one near Georgia and no, I think it's Burrard and Smythe, I think.
Oh,
The
okay. Yeah,
Scotiabank one.
yeah, that
Yeah,
one's huge.
yeah. And so I'm like, oh, Erickson building. I'm gonna take a photo.
That's a very cool building.
Yeah, and it's cool because I never thought about like being able to see it from up top. So it was cool. So yeah, I took some photos of that today, but otherwise it's mostly just like walking around the city and North Van, pretty much.
You've got
Yeah.
another theater compatriot here. Figstop says that they just went to the theater for the first time last weekend and didn't realize
Oh,
how much they missed it.
I know. Like even like before the whole COVID thing, I would see a movie like every Tuesday because it's cheap. That was
Yeah.
like my weekly ritual, and then so I haven't been in like over a year. So sad.
Yeah, I can't remember the last movie that I went and saw.
The good old days.
It's
Ah,
for sure.
okay. But I did see like so I've been seeing one movie since Tuesday. And so Tuesday I saw A Quiet Place, Quiet Places. So
The second one or the first
this
one?
the second one, the second
Oh
one.
wow, I never watched the first one, so.
The first one I like the first one a little bit more, but like the second one is also quite good. Yeah.
So what got you into photography?
Um, let's see. I don't know. I guess I first started film like I don't know, photography in general. I was that person in high school that always had a camera, and but I would never be in the photos. I just like taking photos of like other people. I think my Facebook profile still has like photos from like 12 years ago of my high school classmates. And so like yeah, I that like my first camera was like a Nikon, I think it was a D50 from like way back when. And then yeah, I just really like I guess documenting or like taking photos of other people. And then I think when I was in college, it was like the golden era of like Lomo. I feel like that was when it was really popular. So I want to say like, oh God, now it just makes me feel old. Like 2009 ish.
You're calling 2009 saying that makes you feel old. I feel even older.
Okay, maybe not. But yeah, like 2009-ish, like, and I didn't, I grew up in the Philippines, so back then, like, I think it was really popular in Hong Kong. So I was just like, I just entered college and like, I was broke. So I was like, I can't afford like a proper Lomo camera.
Yeah.
So I I saved up like all my allowance to like get this like teeny tiny Japanese like half frame plastic camera. It was made by I still have it actually. It's made by this company called Superheads, and it's like the golden half. They made they made like a bunch of like plastic cameras. Like they even made like a plastic TLR. And so yeah, and then like in college, that was my only camera really. So I would shoot photos and like 72 frames in one roll was a lot, but I was like, yes, it's cheap. Like I could get so many frames out of it, and yeah, I just kind of like kept going. And then when I moved here to Vancouver to like study again, I still shot film more or less, but like I didn't really like get back into it till like the last 2 years, I want to say. And it's really only in the past year that I've like, started developing and like getting more cameras and like investing in a very good scanner. And so I want to say like it's really like I've only had like a serious hobby since like 2019 or so, I want to say. Like, yeah. But yeah, I don't know if that answered the question. Oh my gosh.
No, that was a great answer. Half frame is kind of a pain in the ass.
It is like, yeah, like the thought of like saving so much money that was like, yeah, half frame, but like it takes forever.
Yeah, like I've only ever shot one roll of half frame because it took me forever to get through it, and I was just like,
Yeah.
I don't like this game. 70
But
frames is too much.
oh, for sure. But what was like your favorite camera like when you got started?
Oh, my favorite camera.
Yeah.
Um,
The Polaroid.
well, uh, so it's tough because it's like I oh, so-
Sorry, there's a car alarm. Noisy neighborhood,
I think
sorry.
you're like in LA or something. Um, yeah, it's a tough one because like I have like a favorite Polaroid and a favorite 35
Yeah.
millimeter. And then like I'd probably have to say three because it's like there's my SLR 680, the Nikon
Ooh,
M5,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah, and then the Wista 4x5.
See, I have large format. Oh my God. Oh, that's like the one thing I still have to like. I'm still too scared to leap into.
It's a big leap. Like
Yeah.
you don't you don't take photos with large format, you make them. So
Mm.
you can't really run and gun with it. I did go on a weird photo walk though once with a dude in Boston that was like doing street photography with an 8x10, and he had it
Wow.
tripod like hefted over his shoulder, and then like a big like,
Damn.
messenger bag full of like
Yeah.
he had 5 holders, so he had 10 pictures,
Yeah.
and I was like, dude, that's hardcore. Like, yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, and then there's like this one neighborhood we get into, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'll meet you guys back at I can't go, and the people don't like me in this neighborhood." I was like, "What?" He's like, "I don't really want to get into it," and he just kind of deked off, and we met up
Yeah.
later. But
Oh
uh,
man.
yeah, I kind of admired that dude for doing that because I didn't understand how intense large format was until I started playing with it myself, and I was like,
Oh
"Holy
wow.
shit!" Like that guy was just like trying to do candid street photos with it.
Yeah, that's like, whoa. Something I want to try one day, but like still, like just the thought of like going or like I recently got like a Canon SLR from like the 90s, and even then like people already start giving me looks on the street because it looks so much like a SLR. So I can't imagine walking around with like an 8x10.
People get curious when you have those cameras though, because it's like they'll come and
Yeah,
talk to you, and they just like
yeah.
they're not used to seeing that old timey kind of stuff.
Mhm. That's true. That's true. But I would really like to use it one day for like some really cool architecture photos. I feel like all the movements would make it so cool.
Brandy just joined.
Yeah.
She's very excited that I was doing an episode with you.
Hello. I've never met you, Brandy, but hello.
Hi, Brandy. Sorry I haven't responded to the text messages yet. It's been a little weird this week. But I love you and miss you. We'll talk soon. Brandy is great. She's one of my favorite photo peoples.
Oh yeah, and I love her photos too.
Yeah, if the world ever opens up again and we can go to Merca, um,
Marca.
you'll have to come to Texas for the PolaCon.
Oh, Okay, I'm gonna have to cheers to America.
Sure.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the photo road trips and adventures were like one of my favorite things of the old
Mhm.
world.
Of the
It's kind
old realm.
of a bummer that they're.
Um, yeah, I know. Yeah, I really hope we get to meet one day, Brandy.
I have no doubt
Yes, for sure.
because it'll be Denton or the Bay Area. There's talk of
Mhm.
PolaCon possibly ending up in other cities too, and
Mm.
if I could swing it, I'd like to convince them to do one here in Canada, either in Vancouver or Toronto. Oh no, you're buffering.
Mhm.
Are you back? There, you're
Sorry.
back.
Okay.
You were
Is
buffering
it,
for a second.
oh no, I see it is my internet.
You're back now though. It's fine.
Okay. Okay. There, that's good. Yeah, I haven't really traveled much around the States in general. Like I've really only been to Seattle and LA, but like I I was really young, so it was more of those like Disneyland trips. So
To Disneyland?
yeah, like I was 7 and like we family and I went to Disneyland. So there's so many places that I really wanna visit and like photograph.
Yeah, like it's cool down there too, because like Disneyland, that's the one that's in California, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so like all around like Long Beach and shit like that, there's all sorts of cool stuff to shoot down there.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Very cool.
one of these days.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm actually going on a trip to Saskatchewan next month.
Why?
So I love how that's your reaction. Why? Just visiting a friend. And we're both like I'm both like I'm gonna get my second dose before then, so and Saskatchewan seems to be like really not that active in terms of COVID cases, so I'm not too worried. But yeah, I've never been, and
What
I
part of Saskatchewan are you going to?
Saskatoon.
I like Saskatoon. Saskatoon's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
City that rhymes with fun isn't as much fun as you think it would be.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. I'm pretty sure it'll be nice. And I mean, I would rather go there in the summer than in the winter. So there you go.
Yeah, I spent a bunch of time in Saskatoon for work, and
Hmm.
I didn't hate it. It's nice there. It kind of reminded me of Prince George, but just like a bigger version of Prince George.
Oh.
Yeah,
Mm.
and less stinky because it didn't have pulp milk like Prince George does.
I've also never been to Prince George, but we'll see.
You're not
See,
missing much.
yeah. No, this is the cons of like not being able to drive. I just, you know, it mostly suck. Well, not really suck, but like kind of like being in the city. Oh, hello, come on.
Oh, so you don't have a driver's license then?
Ah, okay, that's a bit of a story. So I
Okay.
technically do have like a license from the Philippines. I just like I when I tried to convert it to a Canadian one, basically I have to just pass the knowledge test and then pass the driving exam and then I have a class 5. So I was halfway and I was taking lessons to for the driving exam. This didn't go very well. And I almost crashed a few times. So I'm like, I'll take a break. And that break has been about 5 years. So
I mean, driving in Canada versus driving in the Philippines are two very different things.
It is. It
I'm
is
surprised
very.
you even need a license in the Philippines. It just,
It's technically it's just a card. It's not even really. It's like a piece of ID. Like no, anyone can drive there.
my uncle got pulled over once when we were visiting. Uh,
Uh-huh.
he lived in Batangas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my parents are out there. They live at Base View Homes across from the
Uh-huh.
military base there in
Oh,
Lipa.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, we got pulled over in Manila, and it was like the fucking weirdest thing because he just pulled his wallet out and just started pulling pesos out until the
Yeah,
officer was like,
yeah.
"Thank you, sir. Have a nice day," and then just like took
Yep.
them.
There's like a very tactful way to do it sometimes. Like you would fold it and kind of like, here's my license, and then there's like 100 peso bill.
It wasn't even that.
Pesos.
He just like started pulling money out until the guy was like, "That's enough."
Oh my God. Yep. That's how it is back home.
Yeah, it was interesting. I went there in 2008, and
Mhm.
I don't know if I would ever really want to go back again.
That's fair. That's
That
totally
was
fair.
really. When did you move from the Philippines?
I moved here in 2013.
Okay.
2013. Yeah, 2013. Like, when was that? Yeah, 2013. I try to go back every year, uh, but I haven't been last year. So my last trip home was like 2019, like the summer of. And even then, like every time I come back home, it's like a weird feeling. Like, especially because I did grow up. I was born and raised in Manila, so like the city itself is just like so different every time I come back home.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I don't know. That's all I can say. It's like a weird feeling. Like I miss my family and my friends and everything, but like city living there is just like so. I don't know how to describe it. It's like the, well, of course, there's the traffic. That's probably the number one thing, the traffic. And like the weather didn't really like make it a very pleasant experience. It's like you sweat buckets all the time and you have to take 2 showers a day. And
Yeah, I got sick because I kept hanging out in the air conditioning too much, and like,
yeah,
and I caught a cold, and I'm like, how do you
yeah,
catch a cold when it's this freaking hot out?
that's a real problem.
Yeah, and then I totally fucked up on the last 2 days we were there. My uncle told me, don't eat any food unless it comes from a restaurant. He's like, try to find a way to politely decline because he's like, your delicate Canadian stomach will just destroy itself if you eat the food here. And then don't drink the water.
Yeah, your
And
digestive system is a snowflake.
exactly. And it's just like, yeah, he'd be like, the food, it just like they cook it in the morning and then it just sits on the table all day outside. And he's like, we can handle it, but you probably won't. And I'm like, fair enough. That seems a little sketchy. Uh, yeah, and the second to last night I was there, um, I woke up in the middle of the night and was just like so thirsty and just
Mhm.
poured a glass of tap water and just drank it without thinking. And then afterwards, I was just
Mhm.
like, oh shit, and I got so sick.
Bro,
Like it was,
no
I got like
go.
really sick from that.
Yep. Tap water is
Yeah,
a
that
no
was
bueno,
not fun.
man. I think that's one habit that I still
No, it was
have.
bad. Is
Am I still
just
laggy?
avoiding tap water. No, you're
Yeah,
good. You're
like
back.
okay. Like I know like like Vancouver water is like one of the best in the world. But like it's just a habit that I have. I still have to have filtered water. I just can't. That's just how I've lived the rest of my life.
Yeah,
um,
it was very different over there. Like, um, we drove to I think it was Taal.
Oh
Like
yeah,
some
the
crazy
volcano.
yeah, there was some crazy mountain that we drove to. It was like a couple hours away
Yeah.
because like the best dressmaker that my
Oh.
Lola knew lived there. And so we were like going, it was like we spent 3 hours driving there in the morning.
Yes.
And along the way to wherever the hell it was we were going, she saw this like meat stand in the middle of nowhere on the side of it was like a shanty with like
Mhm.
like dead cows hanging in front of it, and like stray dogs were like nipping at the bottom of the cows. And my Lola's like, "Stop, stop! We need to stop!" And it's like when she was just like all excited about this
Yeah.
sketchy meat, and she bought like a couple pounds of this like random cow from the side of the like there was nothing else. There was no.
Yeah.
Where does this guy come from to like set up this meat stand?
Yep.
And then it just sat in the back of the truck all day. Like we were like gone for like the whole day, and then we got back, and she was so stoked to make a stew with it. And my uncle's like, "Don't eat it. It's up to you."
Nope. Nope. I really hope you didn't.
I didn't. I did not try that. But she was so excited about it. Like it was kind of adorable how stoked she got about all of the weird random things. But it was a very different world experience
For
being.
sure. Yeah, and now I feel like, you know, cause when my last trip home, I feel like I was also in a different mind space towards photography.
Hmm.
Like I brought my
Oh, sorry, you were breaking up there a little bit. Which camera did you bring?
it was my parents' camera, and it was one of those like point and shoots that you had like a family camera and that everybody forgot about.
Sorry, what camera
Am I
was
still
that?
breaking up?
You're back now, but what was you brought? What kind of camera was it?
Okay. It was a point and shoot from my parents. So it was a
Okay.
Leica. It was a Leica Mini Lux. It's very bougie for a
Oh,
point and shoot, but it's like one of those like they bought it on like their first trip to Europe as like an investment, but like they eventually forgot about it. And fast forward to like 2010, they found it again, and I'm like,
huh?
it's a red dot.
So you have a like a mini
And
Lux in your collection, then is what you're saying?
I do, but then I
Nice.
don't use it as much because I don't know. It's my parents' camera, and like I'm particularly I enjoy SLRs a little more than shooting point, but it is a very good point and shoot, I have to say.
Yeah.
Um, but in the last 3 months or so, I've been having problems with it. I actually tried to get it fixed. There was issues with like the autofocus,
Mm.
and like I brought it into VanCam, like one of the repair stores here, and they were like saying, "Oh, it's gonna cost about $400 to get it fixed." I'm like, okay. I guess I just won't use I just won't use Zoom. Like I can still use it, like it will still take photos, but like once I use the Zoom, it won't. It refuses to take the photo.
Well, I
So
mean, 400 isn't bad to get
yeah.
those fixed because typically you can't get like those electronic point and shoots fixed. Like that's why I kind of find it really hilarious with
Mhm.
all the people that are like dropping thousands of dollars on like contacts and shit like that. And it's just like you just spent 2 grand on a ticking time bomb. Like you're gonna one day you're just gonna try to turn it on and it's not gonna work, and you'll be like,
Yeah.
why? And it's like, well, because you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. I know. I use it sparingly, but then that's also like one of the reasons I want to bring it back home and like take photos with it back home. I don't know. It's like I'll use my parents' camera to take pictures of like my dad's hometown and stuff like that. So it has a different feel to it. Now that I tried to look at it, I'm like, oh, it's so different from like the photos I'm taking of now. Maybe because it's also like a different place, I guess.
Mm.
But like I feel like when I come home, hopefully soon, like if I get to come visit like
Yeah,
Manila again.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure.
No, you keep talking. I'll let.
Oh, yeah, like if I get to come back home again, I feel like I'm in a different, like my eyes work differently now, and I feel like the photos I'll be taking of would be like completely different as well. So
Yeah,
I'm
because you kind
excited.
of like evolve your eye and things.
Yeah, but also I feel like the concept of home has also kind of changed. Yeah, like how what home means always feels a little different. Like it keeps
How so?
changing.
'Cause I have a very weird relationship with home, so I'm kind of curious to hear like
Yeah.
your relationship with home
Oh,
is.
for me, like Canada's like the first place I've lived ever outside. Like, like I don't know if it's like a coming of age thing, but like I felt like I properly entered adulthood in Canada. So, and like I moved here without my family, and like I think I just turned 20 when I first
Oh
moved
wow!
to
So
Vancouver.
you came in
Yeah,
by yourself. You didn't move with family.
no, yeah.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so it's like, and even like when I was growing up in the Philippines, it was, I don't know, I always felt like a little, not out of place, but like different. Like there are some parts of like the culture that I never really agreed with. I think I think the biggest part of it was like I never really felt like I was religious, even though I grew up in a very religious environment.
Yeah, the Philippines is like so religious.
Yes,
Like that
right.
when we went to that mountain town to go get the dresses,
Yeah,
there was this like big fancy church there that had like fast food weddings going on basically,
yeah,
where there's like a lineup of people getting married, and it's like they'd stand in front of the priest,
yeah.
priest would marry them,
Mass
they'd move on.
weddings, that's what they call it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was so weird to see just in like the big church and stuff, and it's just like
Mhm.
my mom made us grow up Roman Catholic because like
Mm.
that's what they did, and it was I was always salty about it as a kid because like my dad would stay home,
Yeah.
and so we were just like, well, why does dad get to stay home? So then
Yeah.
we started forcing him to have to go, and then he was kind of salty at us because he's like,
Yeah.
I ruined my lazy Sundays. Dad.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah. Totally.
very different.
Um, it's
So
so
are
different.
are you finding like Vancouver to be like more like home now then, or?
I guess so. Like it feels like I guess the way I would put it, the closest feeling I would put it as, like going to the Philippines feels like coming back to your childhood bedroom.
Hmm.
It's like you see everything from like, when you were 7 and like you meet all your friends and your cousins, but like your bed in Vancouver where you would crash after work after a long day feels so welcoming in a different way. That's how I feel. So to me, it's like I have two homes. I don't know.
That's fair. Yeah, that makes
That
sense.
Yeah, it's like the home that I would go back and like eat my mom's cooking and see like the glow in the dark stars that I stuck on the ceiling when I was 10.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, but then like yeah, and here in my tiny apartment in Vancouver, it's also like very very nice.
It's your space, so it's like it's your.
Yeah, exactly. But how about you? Like what? Like I understand like you've moved around quite a bit.
Yeah, so I've just realized recently that I'm kind of a bit of like a nomad, I guess.
Mhm.
And it's something that started when we were kids. Um, we would almost move like every 4 years when I
Wow.
um And looking at like my adult life, I've almost kept up with that same timeline. It's been like
Mhm.
every like three to
Oh,
five
wow.
I'm moving somewhere. Um, and I'm coming up on 40 this year, and I just realized that like that's a pattern that I've been like continuing since I was a kid.
Mhm.
Um, so I have like a weird relationship with a home because I don't really feel like I've had home since we left Calgary. Because like I
Oh,
was
wow.
born in Calgary, there's a huge Filipino
Yeah.
community in Calgary, like massive. And like
Mhm.
when I was a kid, I spoke Tagalog more fluently
Mm.
than I spoke English
Oh,
because
wow. Yeah.
like my Lola and Lola lived with us.
Mhm.
So I would always be speaking Tagalog with them. My mom
Mhm.
spoke Tagalog to me and my brothers. We would go out like every weekend. There'd be these big fancy Filipino society parties, so we'd go there and like
Yeah.
the big roast pig and everything. And
Oh, for sure.
yeah, everyone's speaking Filipino there. But then when we left Calgary, my Lola and Lola stayed in Calgary,
Mhm.
and my mom stopped speaking Filipino to us, so I lost it. I remember like um, very small bits, like
Mhm.
caballo, taco, and
Very,
taco. That
mm,
yeah,
very useful words to remember.
yeah, exactly. Where's the stinky horse? Like,
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Oh my
yeah.
God.
So like since we left Calgary, like I haven't really felt home.
Mm.
I guess like in my adult life, the closest place to home has been like Kamloops because I've spent
Mm.
a good chunk of my life living in Kamloops.
Mhm.
So I lived there off and on with my parents because they moved there from the Kootenays
Mhm.
after I graduated, and I also lived there with my ex-wife, and yeah, like that before I moved to Toronto, like that's where home was, and like all my family's there, like my brothers and their kids and stuff are all in
Mhm.
Kamloops. So I guess like Kamloops is like the closest to home now, which is like why um, the recent news about the
Oh man. Yeah.
115 children that they discovered there at the old residential school
Yeah.
really really hit me because like I've spent a lot of time in Kamloops. I've spent
Mhm.
time on that land. Like that was a really cool spot to do night photography
Mhm.
around like the old residential school. So it's just like, was I walking around where they were and stuff? And then like my nieces and nephews are all around those kids' ages too. So it's
Mhm.
just like, it's just such a fucking tragedy that, you
No.
know, so many
Yeah.
children yet to be discovered as well.
Yeah. Yeah. They're still finding more.
Yeah, and like they were all robbed of their opportunity to like,
Yeah.
grow and become members of their community and um,
Definitely.
so that was like a big reason why I wanted to do that thing with Northern Film Collective, and the timing
Mhm.
worked well because like I was trying to figure out what we could do to help, like
Mhm.
what we like could we. I was thinking like maybe we do like an open call for submissions and like
Mhm.
put something together there, but then I was like that could get really messy and hard to manage. And while I was trying to like debate this and figure out what would make the most sense, um, Fear and Loathing 35 millimeter
Yeah.
Dylan, he messaged.
Dylan's amazing.
Yeah, and he was like, I'm feeling really fucked up about this. Like,
Yeah.
you guys want to do something together? And so that's where the print collaboration worked out.
Mhm.
And I was like, I'd like to, but let's see what we can arrange for prints. So I reached out to Claudia at Downtown Camera in Toronto,
Mhm.
just let her know what we were thinking about and what we were planning. And she was fully on board for that too. And
Mhm.
um, they've agreed to do all the prints for the project and everything. So it all came together like really quick. Um, and I'm hoping that there's a good reception to it. Um,
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
so like we launched the first print yesterday.
Mhm.
Second print will come tomorrow, and then the third one will be on Sunday, I think. just because we alternate black and white and color on
Yeah,
feed, so
that's
I'm
nice.
doing the releases so that we could keep consistency with that.
Yeah.
Um, but ideally, if the reception to this one is good, what I'd like to try and do is expand it out to
Mhm.
other photographers across Canada that may live in communities with residential schools that are affected by this, and
Yeah.
do targeted fundraisers so
Fundraise,
that
yeah.
money goes straight to that
The
community.
community, yeah.
Is like that was my one sort of
That would
fear,
be
was
amazing.
like raising this money, um, will it actually get to the community?
Yeah.
Like, that's a big concern I have with a lot of nonprofits, is like,
Mhm.
if you donate all this money to them and a fraction of it ends up getting to the actual community, like they use some of that money to like cover their own overhead and things like that.
Mhm.
Um, and this just felt like something way too important to just have it be a gesture.
Right.
Like I wanted it to actually be something that could make change.
Yeah,
So
and impactful, yeah.
yeah,
For sure.
so we'll see how it goes. The pictures are pretty cool. Like Dylan's got
Yeah.
some real bangers that
Yeah.
he's given us there. Like the first one is cool. I like it, but the two that are coming are like really really fucking good. So
Suspense.
yeah, um,
Oh, I'm excited.
I'm
And
excited too. Like it's amazing
yeah.
the the people that are in this community that we're
Mhm.
part of. Like there's, for the most part, a lot of really great good people in this
Mhm.
community that all want to
Definitely.
change. Um,
Yeah.
so I don't know, it's humbling to be part of it
Mhm.
sometimes.
Yeah. Definitely. And I don't know, this is just my experience as like an immigrant. Like I'm like the very definition of a settler. So, and like before moving to Canada, like this is all like I have no idea. And so like there's so much more to learn and like to really like unpack, I guess. And as long as you're benefiting from like the system and like the basically the result of like what's happened, like you owe it to like the original like to the people who lived there first, who actually owned the land, to like help.
Yeah, and like that's something where I cringe a lot
Yeah.
when you see in the news, or when people
Yeah.
are just talking about it, where they're like, "Oh, Canada's dark past, Canada's dark
Mhm.
history," and
It's
it's like
not that
this
far.
isn't the dark past. This
No.
is heritage that Canada was built on.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Canada is built on the bodies and blood of
Yeah.
indigenous people and people of color.
Yeah.
Like, we literally stole all the land
Mhm.
from indigenous First Nations people, and
Mhm.
then infrastructure, most of our massive like railway infrastructure, that
Mhm.
was all built by Asian people.
Yep.
Like, it was they were like the slave labor of Canada, and
Yep.
so like we have a steeped history in violence against people of color
Mhm.
and marginalization of people of color and indigenous
Mhm.
communities. And even with the termination of the residential schools in 1996,
Mhm.
that the work that the residential schools were doing never stopped. Like the
Nope.
only reason the
Yeah.
residential schools were closed was because they were no longer financially feasible for the government to run.
Mhm.
Found that it was more cost effective to bolster the foster care program.
Yeah. The
And,
welfare. Yeah.
yeah, and put kids into foster care instead of putting them into residential school. So the attack against indigenous people never stopped.
No. Yeah.
They made it more cost effective for the government. Like they're still stealing children from their communities today. And it's kind of like an awful thing, because everyone has this idea of Canada being this like utopia,
Yeah.
kumbaya nation
It's
where
not that. No. It's not like that at all.
like it's pretty, when you start to learn what Canada has been built on,
Mhm.
it's pretty fucking grim.
It's fucked up.
And it's
That's what it is.
yeah, it's really fucked up, and it's really disheartening.
Mhm.
um but I'm I'm hopeful that we will see some good change coming because
Mm-hmm.
um, I think a lot of these people are going to be put to task soon, and more
Yeah.
people are becoming aware of this now. And
Mm-hmm.
if you like people listening right now aren't familiar with like Canada's residential school systems and what's happening in Kamloops and stuff, we've compiled a few good resource links on the Northern Film Collective website. So if you go to northernfilmcollective.ca/Kamloops, that outlines the program that we're doing for Kamloops right now. And then there's a bunch of like really good links that go over like the history of residential schools in Canada and
Mm-hmm.
what had happened in Kamloops. And yeah, like that's if you don't know about it, I would implore you to do some reading. I would 1,000,000% dissuade you from reaching out to, like
Yeah.
people of color and Indigenous people and putting labor on them
Yep.
for your education because that's just completely unfair.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just like when the Black Lives Matter thing went down, like, not cool to like, phone up your one black friend and be like, so tell me about racism. Like, please don't do that. Um,
No.
the internet
No.
has all the information you could ever
Yes.
need. Just type in a Google search, like, why does Canada hate First
Mm-hmm.
Nations people and probably get a whole
It's
ton
that
of,
easy, people. It's that easy.
you know,
For sure.
and it
Oh.
was a while too because I
Mm-hmm.
did reach out to the Kamloops First Nation because
Mm-hmm.
when I was doing the promo post, I wanted to include a logo, like their logo on it, just to show their support. Um, but I was like, I should ask before I just go ahead and do this. And
Yeah.
so I called their communications director over there and
That's
talked to them about
awesome.
it.
Yeah.
And they were like, you know what? Thank you for asking because so many people out there have started GoFundMe's and all this stuff. And he's like, we're
Mm-hmm.
appreciative of all of that, but they're they're using this logo without permission,
For sure. Yeah.
using to our members because our
Yeah.
members see the logo and assume this is like a sanctioned thing and this is
Mm-hmm.
like the band is behind this and we're not.
Mm-hmm.
And he was kind of like, I kind of wanted to say yes to you because like you asked, but he's like, let me get back to you, talk to the
Yeah.
chief. And the chief was like, no, you can't do that just because they
Yeah.
don't set a precedent that it's cool. And I was like,
Right.
I'm glad that I
That's
asked.
fair.
And,
Yeah.
he was saying that like ever since the news broke about Kamloops, they've just been inundated with calls and like people trying to show support and stuff like that. And he said it's been very wild and overwhelming, but also cool. But it's
Mm-hmm.
just like it's tough because when people are planning these own individual events, like there needs to be some respect of the community as well taken into account.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, as well. And Caroline says here
Yeah. I
also,
was just gonna
University
say.
of Alberta has a free course consisting of 12 modules available. The course is presented from an Indigenous perspective and is she highly recommends it. I've heard of that and I've been meaning to take it. So, it's definitely worth checking that out. I think it's still free too, because Dan Levy was like on the social media talking about that one a few
Now I
months.
want to look it up.
Yeah, like I mean, as people who have settled on this like colonial territory, like
Mm-hmm.
it's on us to understand
For sure.
what we're doing here and
Yeah.
respect who this was taken from, and yeah, before that happens, like we can't really have real healing before that happens across
Mm-hmm.
whole countries.
It's funny because Canada Day is coming up.
Yeah, so that's a weird like it's weird
Yeah.
to celebrate Canada
I've never.
knowing
Um,
knowing what happened because
yeah.
it's just like what are we celebrating like
Yeah.
you know and like things too like I was reading this recount from someone of when the Queen visited Kamloops and she
Mm.
handpicked 10 children to go on a picnic with her and those 10 children never returned. No one knows what happened to them.
Oh, shit.
And it's like, so these are the people we're celebrating. This is the heritage we're celebrating. Is like, people that straight up stole kids and murdered them. Like, there was another recount from someone that was in a class, and the teacher like um, disciplined a child so heavily that the nun snapped the kid's neck, and the kid died in front of the class. And the nun just left the body there all day as an example to behave. Because if
That's
they
so fucked up.
behave, they would just end up like that. And like, it's just wild to think that was a reality.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's what Canada Day is about. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, like I've never celebrated it. I've never felt like I wanted to because like I'm not Canadian. And
Yeah.
also it's just like yeah, like and more reason not to now that I know more and I understand more behind it. So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not to say that Canada's a completely awful place. Like,
Yeah.
there are a lot of really great people here, and we've done a lot of really great things, but we also need to address
Yeah.
the badness that's happened here, and
Definitely.
actual change to correct
Yeah.
that. And Kat says here, the U of A course is free through Coursera. It's called Indigenous Canada, if you want
Yeah.
to check that out.
Actually, yeah, I Googled it and yes, it is on Coursera and you can also access it through the U of A website. It's called Indigenous Canada. So you guys should enroll.
Yeah, I might actually add a link to that on the Northern Film Collective page if people register for it. Yeah, sorry for that sort of tangent there.
No, I'm. Everybody needs to hear about it.
And I appreciate your camera giveaway that you're working on as well too. Yeah, I appreciate that very much.
I have a camera giveaway.
Yeah, you were doing donation.
No.
Something.
Maybe it's a different person.
Sorry, that's my bad. I'm getting things mixed up here.
I could do a camera giveaway.
No. Sorry, that's my bad.
Blooper.
It was a blooper.
That was a blooper.
That was a total blooper. Here, let me fix that now.
It's all right.
No, it wasn't. I got you mixed up with my other Filipino photo pal.
I think I know who she is.
The girl who shoots film. Yeah.
Ariela, I think is her name. Yes. Very close.
Yeah, similar. Yeah, that was my bad. So Mary Alice is offering. She's got a couple cameras up that any proceeds from those cameras she's also going to be donating to the Kamloops First Nation.
That's awesome.
I'm so silly about that.
Well, Eric says you should do it.
Well, okay, so Eric, funny thing.
Oh boy.
So I am probably going to be doing a camera giveaway here because I hit 2,500 followers, and I've stayed at 2,500 followers. So I think to commemorate that now, since it stayed consistently, I'm going to probably be offering this.
What's that?
My first quote. It's a full thing.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. It has a very janky, cheap Kodak plastic camera, some Kodak Gold, 12 exposures of who knows if it'll work or not, and then a photo album that you can put your prints into. And then there's a book here for my first steps in taking photography.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's so good. Like this was published in 1996, so I was in grade 10 when this book came out. And look at this. You know, have fun with your friends. Stand on a table and point the camera down at them there. You know? So, yeah. Then there's a whole like thing
Amazing.
on using the camera. So, I think I'll be putting this guy up for the giveaway.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
And this thing is like so good. I think I picked it up at Value Village like a while back, but
Hmm.
everything here, like someone never opened it. Like, and I haven't brought myself to open it either because it's just so perfect. So
Yeah.
whoever gets this will be the first one to bust that camera out.
Maybe
Like,
they'll never open it as well.
who? Well, I hope they would. I hope they like follow the instruction books so that they can take awesome pictures of their friends,
Oh my
and
god.
that would be friggin' amazing. So, Eric,
Yeah.
you just might be able to participate in a camera giveaway there sooner than later. Yeah.
I hope Eric wins.
Yeah. Well, now it's gonna seem rigged if he does win. He'll just be like, you know,
You like Eric shooting with my. That would be amazing. But yeah, I think Carolina says don't knock cheap plastic cameras.
oh, you
I
shouldn't.
don't definitely no.
One of my favorite cameras right now is my Lomo simple use reusable camera.
Yeah,
I
no,
love
me too. I have a plastic camera. It's not a Lomo, but it's from one of those Japanese toy cameras too. And I love shooting with it in the summer. Just pop in like a Kodak Gold and just go crazy.
I
I
kind of
love.
went nuts with it, and I like shooting Cinestill 800 in it.
Oh my god! Oh my god! That stressed me out. uh,
It's just funny because it's like the roll of film is worth more than the camera
I
is.
know. That's what I was gonna say. Uh,
But it turns out so awesome because like the camera shoots at 400, so
uh,
it overexposes the Cinestill, and you get this really cool like sort of blown out look to it,
yeah.
and it looks so nice. Like, um, yeah, and I like shooting Cinestill 800 during the day.
Hmm.
I'm
I've
like
never tapped that. I have to.
I do all the things you're not supposed to with the Cinestill. Yeah.
I've only ever shot 800 once and 50D once.
So a lot of
Um,
people sleep on the 50D, but I really like the 50D.
I do like the 50. I like it a little more than the 800, honestly.
I agree with you. Like
Yeah.
I also like it a little bit more than the 800, um, but only if you have a lot of light. Like you
Hmm.
need a lot of light for it.
Definitely, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like my favorite place to have shot the 50D so far was down in Texas because like the light down in
Oh,
Texas,
you get a
it's
lot of light.
a lot of light. Yeah, Caroline says she overexposed it too. And yeah, I did the same thing too. Like I was doing a studio shoot with a friend and I accidentally I set the strobes to what I needed for 100 ISO, but I was
Mhm.
shooting still, so it was just like fucking super overblown. But it looked really cool because like what we were shooting, it made it look very like sort of ethereal and like angelic.
Ooh,
It
yeah,
was neat. So
that halation.
yes, you had halation tape and just join and just
There you go. Oh, amazing. Yeah.
So what's been
What?
your most favorite photo adventure so far since you started shooting with film? Oh, she froze again. Are you back?
Oh, did I? I think so. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back now.
Okay.
Yeah,
What's
you're
my
back.
favorite photo adventure? Is that your question?
Yeah.
Let me see. I think it's memorable because it's probably, oh, my cat wants to join. I went to Bowen Island and walked from one end of the island to the other one. Yeah, completely by foot. And I took like 4
Oh, that's
rolls.
cool.
Oh, my cat. Hello. um, and yeah, Chirpy, you want to say hi to everybody? He's a big cat.
He's such a big boy.
He's a giant boy. Yeah. Whenever I have like a video call, he knows and he just wants to join in. So.
Aw, that's sweet boy.
So here he is. But yeah, like I just walked on the side of the road, literally, from one end of the island to the other. And I feel like it's when you walk that you really like get to see everything, and you really like slow down and like think about it, what to shoot. And I actually have one of the photos that I took on that walk on my wall, and it was like there's like 2 deers. What's the plural for deer? Deers?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they look straight at the camera, and it's like one of my, oh my god, Chirpy, you have like so many internet sounds now. But this is how big my cat is. This is me to scale.
Whoa.
He is a big cat.
Such a big boy.
He is a big boy. A very big boy.
Ariela asks, have you, or who's been there when you forget what's in your camera? I've totally done that. Have you forgotten what film you had in your camera?
No. I'll be honest, no, because I make it a point to always finish the roll.
Oh, you're smart.
I'm one of them.
I totally forget what I have in camera sometimes.
Yeah. And yeah, and I never put tape or anything because I was just like, no, I have to finish the roll. I'm like on a mission. And then I've also done it before where I've learned my lesson. So when I finish a roll, I have to like rewind it that very second. Because then I've opened it with like the thing on. I'm like, no, my photos.
I've done that more times than I would like to admit. Yeah.
So,
ruined so many photos.
Learned the hard way. Oh,
right.
See, I've hoarded 24, like the rolls of Kodak Gold with 24 exposures because for that particular reason.
See, like, okay, I understand 24 because it's easier to shoot, but this is why I hate 24 exposures, is because, like, the lab charges you the same amount of money to develop 24 as it does 36. So it's like I feel like I'm cheating myself out by not having those extra shots.
Yeah. Well, I don't have that problem because I developed my own. Which reminds me, I need to do a dev day because I have 11 rolls and I'm like, what the heck?
I have a whole bunch of stuff. I have so much stuff that I need to mail to Toronto.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I've got like 12 rolls that I haven't done yet.
Oh, snap. Yeah. Good luck to us. I have like my pile here of like unscanned stuff that I have not really made much progress on top of like the 11 that I haven't developed. So I'm like,
See, like, that's also why I don't like developing at home is I hate scanning. I know some people love scanning and it's like totally their jam, but I just like don't enjoy it at all.
Uh, to me, it's a love-hate thing. See, okay, so I have my good old Epson here, my lovely chunky unit. But then I also acquired a Nikon, one of like the cool scan ones.
The cool scan.
Yeah. I'm like, what? Someone's selling it on Marketplace? I got it within like the first 24 hours. I'm like, you must be mine. And that kind of changed things for me. I like it a little more now, but it can't do medium format, so I still use my Epson for medium format.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Bracing Hypocrisy says they should be driving, but they're here. That's funny. Caroline asks, what's your scanning process? How do you deal with dust? Tell me about cutting negatives. I just picked up a light box to make it easier with a scalpel.
Well, I still use scissors, although I do have an X-Acto knife. But I don't know. I guess I can. Well, this is my workstation, so everything is here. I have my gloves. I have my rocket blaster. I don't know if that's what you call it. And then I have compressed air if it's like really annoying. And guys, I have a long-haired cat, so like dust is the least of my problems. There's like cat hair everywhere. And yeah, so when I develop it and once it's dry, I make it a point to like scan it right away. Otherwise, I try to like put it in a acid-free bag, which we have at work that I steal sometimes. So I just put it in a sleeve as soon as possible if I can't scan it. And then I do have a light table and a loop. Like sometimes the loop is useful, especially with black and white and slide film. But yeah, and then I just scan it as soon as I can. Halation Station says, I agree.
Just keep scissors and pray to Thanos, but I found that a little permacropping is inevitable. I mean, so the Thanos thing is hilarious. I don't know if you guys TikTok much at all, but I saw the most ridiculous TikTok of this guy that did Thanos, but as Michael Cera.
Oh
And it was so good because like
my god.
he
Oh my
nailed Michael
god.
Cera. So it was like all of Thanos' monologue, but if Michael
Yeah.
Cera was
Oh
saying
my
it.
god, oh my god, I have to find that.
I'll dig it up and I'll send it to you. It was,
That's amazing. Anyway, yeah, I mean, otherwise, I play the last step to my scanning process is I play a movie in the background, and that's it.
is it always the same movie or do you switch it up?
Nah, I switch it up. But like 90 minutes is like the perfect chunk of time for me to like scan. At least like 2, 3 rolls at a time. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. The Nikon has changed my scanning life though. I do enjoy it much more now.
I imagine like if I had something like a cool scan, I probably
Mhm.
wouldn't hate scanning as much either. But
Mhm.
I'll probably have to get something like that eventually because I have like bags of negatives that my parents gave me of like all my childhood photos that I need to scan at some point.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Do you guys want to see my cat talking to birds?
Paul wants Paul wants to know what
Uh,
is your favorite focal length.
I am a nifty 50 type of girl. So that's my go-to lens for sure. I'm not much of a 28, although I do have a 28, but I've only ever really used it for like astro photography.
Nice.
Yeah, I find
I
like
feel you on the 50.
yeah,
50.
yeah.
And Caroline says, what are your thoughts on editing photos in photo software? There seems to be a division against some purists that are against it.
I am. I do have mixed feelings about it because the thing is, like, once you digitize your negatives, like, that's pretty much like photo manipulation already. So your photo.
Oh.
What it takes to get there is like completely up to you. Like, you're in control. It's your photo. So for me, my threshold is really like when I scan, like I fix my curves, and if I really like a particular photo, like I manually like color convert it. So I scan the negative as a slide, and then I do the process manually on Photoshop for that particular frame. Like, I can't do it for the whole roll because that would take me forever. But yeah, especially if I make a print somebody, like my sister, she's really liked one of the photos of like the chairs that I took a photo of. And yeah, so I made it into like a G-Clay print for her, and so I really wanted to get the colors right, so I did that manually. But otherwise, oh, my cat. Otherwise, it's mostly straighten and crop. Like, that's as much as I really do in terms of editing.
Then Halation Station asks, are you batch scanning strips of tags? The quick scan makes it so easy.
I wish I could. So I have the, yeah, the same as what you have. And if I had the 5,000, I would be able to scan it as a roll. There's a way to do it, and I have an engineer friend who offered to do it, but this model doesn't let me do it. So unfortunately, I can't. So I still scan in like strips of 6. But the film like makes it so much nicer scanning. Yeah. I'm also reading the comment.
And then Halation Station, I feel like it depends on how you think about your work. Is it journalism, art? If you're trying to be a journalist, then ultimate purity of image is key. If it's your art, all things turn. I mean, it's a tough one because I think like there's like a weird thing with no need to be sorry about
yeah, no, we love the engagement.
that's fine. But there's a weird thing with like these sort of like purists that get all upset about like, oh, you manipulated the photo and blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, but dudes and people have been manipulating photos all time. Like, if you saw the original like negatives of Ansel Adams' work, it looks like shit. His photos didn't look good until he edited the living bejesus out of the studio. So like this whole like, oh, it needs to be pure, like straight out of the camera. It's like, shut the fuck up. Whatever. Like, it always requires some bit of editing. Especially if you're shooting film and then getting it digitized, like, that in itself is changing looks. Definitely. Because like depending on how it's scanned and who scanned it and blah blah blah, like it'll look different from one scan to another. So it's like, if you really want it to be pure, the only way to really do that is like shoot slide film and then show people the slides from a slide projector, and then that's it. That's like as close to like the pure thing that you could get.
Would you agree though? Does this apply to Polaroids?
How so?
I don't know. I feel like because like once you take it, that's it, right?
Well, yeah. So like that's one of the things that's always attracted me about Polaroids is that a Polaroid is the most honest image that you could ever take because it's the only one that ever exists. Like, I took 2 photos of this moment and they're both completely different because they were shot a few seconds apart from each other. So that's the most honest photo ever. But as soon as I scan it, it's not going to look the same as this once it's scanned. It's going to be a little different, and it doesn't make it any less of a photo. Like, it's I don't know.
No.
I think like it's just a way for people that like to argue to just have something to argue about.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah, like face-to-face is a form of photo manipulation. I agree completely. And Brandy says, "Who cares? Live your life and let people have their joy." And Caroline asks, "Well, how about film filters or presets?"
Like on Lightroom? Is that,
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know. Like I don't really care. To me, it's like you take the photo and you share it with people. Whatever the final result is, like you're the image taker. So you get to decide what it is that people see, and as long as you're happy with it, like that's that's it. Like people can't do anything about it. Like this is my photo. Look at it. That's it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think ultimately, like that's what really matters. Like,
Mhm.
you know, it's your photo, it's your image, it's your vision of what you saw.
Mhm.
Like, it should really only matter to you.
To
If
yeah.
someone else is getting all upset that you photoshopped a film photo, then maybe they need to like take that up with their therapist or get a therapist to talk it out with.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, I I don't think there's anything wrong with it, honestly. And was it? Oh, Caroline says, and what about Instagram filters? Have you found any that actually look like Portra 400, Kodak Gold, etc.?
No. Like I don't really use them.
I haven't, but I mean, when I used to fuck with filters, it was Nashville. I fucking loved Nashville. That was a good.
Oh man. Oh yep. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I won't lie. I use when I shoot digital, sometimes I will use a preset that makes it kind of look like Kodak on some
Mm,
just to like get some grain in that digital photo.
mhm.
So I don't see a problem with presets because like I mean ultimately it's whatever you feel comfortable and you're happy with.
Mhm.
Um, and Paul asks, have you seen Fan Ho work?
I just googled. It looks amazing. Now I have. Oh, I really
Uh,
love the lighting.
in Nashville, dude, I miss Nashville. I would love to go back and hit up Prince's again. It burned so good, but it was I miss it. That hot chicken was so good.
I'm jealous.
Nashville was cool. I enjoyed Nashville a lot. It's the first place where I ever took um, an actual photo on film of lightning strikes.
Ooh, damn.
Yeah, there was like a
How did you do
crazy.
that?
So it was kind of funny. Like I wasted a ton of frames doing it, but like it was with my 50 mil, and I have this like rubber um, lens hood for it.
Uh,
And the rubber lens hood is like super handy if you don't want to have reflections when you're trying to shoot through glass because you can push
oh,
it up against the glass and then no more reflections because the rubber
right.
and you can
Yeah,
kind of you have some room to move the camera around.
right.
But I just kind of like would hear the thunder strike and then like count down the lightning bolt and then just fire it. And I got a couple of really cool shots of like big thunderbolts in
Damn.
Nashville on film. And it's like when it rains there, I've never experienced rain like the rain in Nashville. That was kind of wild.
Yeah. Ooh,
If I ever do make it to Nashville again, Halation Station, you up?
I need to get on that too.
Oh yeah, get on the travel game when the world opens up again.
Yeah. One city in the States that I also want to visit is New Orleans. Like anywhere.
I've never been. I've heard good things about it.
Yeah. It's like my jam. Yeah, definitely. For now, I have Saskatoon.
I mean, it's a start.
I know, it's a good start. Yeah.
I mean, the prairies, you're seeing it the best way by flying in, because driving to the prairies is really boring, because, like, it's just so boring. That's my least favorite part of driving across Canada is the prairies, because it's just so flat and boring for so long.
It's like the first word to describe it is just boring. Oh, Paul is asking black and white versus color preference. For me, I definitely like shooting in color more. But I did enjoy shooting black and white. Like, actually, my favorite black and white film is the Ortho Plus.
I love the Ortho Plus.
I love the Ortho Plus.
It's such a cool film because, like,
Yeah.
the whole, like, it not being red sensitive makes
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
But I do like the next black and white film that I want to try is the Fuji one, Across.
Oh,
Yeah.
like, that's a nice one too. You should also try, if you haven't yet, Ferrania P30.
Yes, that is. I definitely want to try Ferrania.
They still have some of it at Beau
At
Photo.
Beau? Oh
Yeah.
man, better get on that.
I've got a small stash of it because I
Yeah.
really like it a lot. It's a great one.
Oh, okay.
But it needs you need to be, like, really on with your exposures.
Exposures, yeah.
It is not a pretty film.
Oh,
and Double X is great too. Caroline
yeah.
Caroline said that one.
Yeah.
I really like Eastman Double X.
I need to write this down. I have a love-hate relationship with Shanghai. I bought a fuck ton of it, and I'm like, I don't know, like, I love it, but I also don't love
Why
it.
don't you love it?
I don't know. It's just like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like, I see, like, I would get one good roll, and then I would shoot another, and it's like, I thought this was gonna be better than I thought it would be. It's a matter of consistency for me. It's just like, I've already shot like 6 rolls of it at this point, and it's like, I can't. It's just not for me, I guess.
I've never messed with the Shanghai.
Yeah.
I'm too loyal to like Kodak and Ilford and stuff. I've really strayed too far from them. I've never played with Rolly Blackbird. I've always wanted to mess with that one. I do like the Crossbird a lot, though.
Oh, I have a question for everybody. I have a roll of the Rolly infrared, and I got an infrared filter as well, but I don't know what to shoot. If anybody has recommended, I know, like, landscapes might be interesting.
I've never fucked with the infrared film, so I wouldn't know what's there.
But that's like one thing that I want to do this summer, like with all the light and stuff. So
Greenery.
Trees and forests, yeah.
Well, we have lots of that here, trees and forests.
Yeah.
Shanghai's quality control is super bad. The one is really fun, high contrast stuff.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite part about it. It's so contrasty. But yeah, anywhere that's green. Yeah, definitely BC has a lot of that.
Yeah, well, you said you're in North Van, so, like, hit up Lynn Valley or something.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Or you could head up to Whistler.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just have to pick a day for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably one of the things. Yeah, one of the things that I want to shoot with this summer. Oh, another thing I want to try shooting is Lomo purple at night.
I've
'Cause I
heard of it at night being really
Yeah,
cool.
and I've seen like Danielle's like photos recently. It looks so cool. Like yeah. I was like, damn it, I need to try it.
JP says the prairie's an infrared. That could be interesting.
Yeah, I should bring it. I should bring it
Yeah,
over.
that could work very interestingly.
For sure. Um, yeah. Yeah, I also want to try shooting more medium format, but I only have like my TLR. Like I want to get another medium format, but like I can't really decide on a size. Like what's your favorite frame size? I don't know, like a 645?
I'm really partial to 6.7.
Okay.
Like 6.7 a lot. And then I got a 6x9 recently, and I really like that guy because I picked up the Fuji
Yeah,
GW690, so it's like the
the
Texas
Texas
Leica,
Leica.
and that thing's pretty bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of wild though that it only is 8 shots. Like it's just like it's gone so quick. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's like I like 6.6 and 6.9.
Uh-huh.
I haven't been able to bring myself to 6.45.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards a 645, but I don't know. There's just so many options. But I have to say, like, I really enjoy it, like the 6x6. Yeah, I really love the square format.
Yeah, the square is a lot of fun.
Mhm.
I'm waiting impatiently for Nicole to get her
Mhm.
latest shipment in from Cinestill because she's getting some of the double X medium format in.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
just
So
going.
Eric says 6.7 is really wonderful. You can shoot vertical and it doesn't look super tall. Nice.
Mm.
See that halation stations count. That's how I feel about 6.45.
Oh, I see.
6.45. When you think about your options to digitize, you might as well shoot 35 and scan with the Nikon. Yeah.
Mm. Huh. Lots to consider. Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6.6 is fun though. I really like
Yeah.
6.6 a lot.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
But Eric is coming
We
to the
have
debate.
a debate here.
We have a debate of 6.45 millimeter.
Well, I have no experience in this, so I'm just here to absorb information.
That's fair.
But yeah, one of the medium format cameras that I don't know, I have a thing for communist cameras. Like, I really like the cameras made by Pentacon, so they made like a copy. Like they have I was looking into the Pentacon 6, so that's on my list, but it's just so hard to find like a good working one. But
Yeah.
otherwise, like I also want to try Bronica.
I
Um,
have a Bronica SQAI and I
mhm,
absolutely love it. It is a favorite.
mhm,
I love that camera a ton. And then
mhm.
I've also got a Mamiya C33, and
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
Caroline also loves the Soviet cameras. I've got a Zorky, and I love the shit out of that thing.
yeah. I love my little Praktica. Although I think it's starting to have some shutter problems now, but it's okay. Can't complain. I still love it. Yeah, yeah. And I just shot like my first two rolls with like the Helios, so I'm really hoping to get some decent bokeh with it. Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
see.
I was testing out a camera for a friend, like an old
Mhm.
Minolta,
Oh yeah, the one you brought with you, right?
Yeah. So I bought a lens that day. I think it's a 50 mil 1.7 or something.
Mhm.
It is really interesting because it has like hexagonal bokeh,
Mhm.
which is I've never seen that before. Look
That's
really cool.
insane.
Yeah, I was almost
Wow.
like I kind of want to keep this cow. Just take it with me.
You're not getting it back. Oh, I love the comments. Yes, Soviet camera.
I like this my hallucination in mother in mother Russia. You.
Please, duh.
Yeah,
No.
I've heard good things about the deeper lens too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like seriously, like I've started learning Russian like a few months ago, and I appreciate all the Soviet cameras so much more. Um, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that. The
Здравствуйте.
I mean, I don't know where it is, but oh, is it you're breaking up there?
Oh no, chunky internet.
Are you back yet?
Am I? I hope
Yeah,
I
now
am.
you're back.
Okay. Okay. That. I hope I'm back.
You
Yeah.
what you were dropping some Russian on us?
No, I just said my Russian needs work.
Oh, Inhalation Station's dropping out. Definitely we'll come to Nashville again sometime because I need to get some more of that chicken.
I will go there for chicken. I agree.
Oh, the chicken's so good. And it was also really cool to like wander around and shoot there.
I bet.
And they have a building that's like the Batman building because it has like bat ears on it. It's kind of cool.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, it was like the old AT&T building.
Uh-huh. I don't know. Um, what are your feelings about brutalist buildings?
The Brutalist buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I mean, I like shooting them. I find them very interesting. Um, one of my favorite buildings in Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if I ever won the lottery, I would want to like try and get a condo in this place. It's the Waterfall Building by Granville Island.
Yeah.
It's such a cool building.
Oh, it is. I love it.
I enjoy brutalist architecture,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes brutalism can go sideways. And Simon
Mm-hmm.
Fraser University is a fantastic example of that. Um, it's I like using it as a school setting, probably not the best idea. Like for a while there, Simon Fraser had one of the highest suicide rates
Oh
in
shit.
Canada because it was just so depressing.
Oh my god.
Because the dude that designed it, prior to SFU, most of the things he architected were like prison complexes and stuff. And so it's like the dorms were like a lot like prison cells and things like that. And you know, I never
Okay.
went to SFU as a student, but
Right.
a friend and I would go there on our days off and draw huge dicks on the chalkboards because they have those big like chalkboards that go up and down. So on like the very most furthest rear back chalkboard, we'd draw terrible things, pull the chalkboard down over it.
Oh my god, that's
That's what we do
amazing.
with our days off.
Fun times. I would
But it
put
was
an
cool to
eggplant
photograph.
emoji.
I well, yeah. Now they've just draw an eggplant emoji and be like, ha ha ha. But like we just, yeah. This was in the early 2000s.
That was the OG vandalism.
It was, yeah, that was terrible. But I do like it. Like the courthouse downtown is really cool. Like, I like brutalism
Mhm.
in architecture. It's interesting. But I also like. I think my favorite style of architecture is like Frank Lloyd Wright's work. Um,
Mm.
that would be like an absolute like if I came into more money than I knew what to do with, I would love to like find a Frank Lloyd Wright that's available and live in one of those, because just yeah, the design concepts he had were so ahead of their time, and very, very cool buildings. What about yourself?
Check that out. I don't know. I've only really like started looking, like taking more like architecture photos like lately, so I haven't really looked much into it. I'm mostly like curious about like who people's favorite architects or buildings are, and like I have like a dream list of like buildings to or at least not even buildings, just like neighborhoods to shoot. Like my sister lives in London, and there's an area called the Barbican Center. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but like, yeah, it's like very, very interesting, like buildings and interiors, and like, I guess like at least like the photos I've seen of it, like the lighting is like very intentional. Like there's like very cool pockets of light that just like enter, and it seems pretty interesting. And also just like ex-Soviet Union countries, they have very weird and interesting architecture, and most of them are like abandoned now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I want to visit it one day. Like Georgia, like Tbilisi. Like I know Martin Parr has a photo book on like Tbilisi, and I also want to visit, I don't know, maybe Kazakhstan or other Soviet countries one day.
He also mentioned Habitat in Montreal, which is a very, very cool structure.
Ooh.
It was built for Expo 67, and it's so cool. Like Habitat is neat. It was one of the places that
oh shit.
I'm kind of bummed out. I never actually got to go photograph because
damn.
Yeah, it's super cool, right? I wanted to shoot it, but then COVID happened and I couldn't get to Montreal for a while. So
yeah.
One day.
Oh, definitely. I really want to visit Montreal again, and I'm definitely going to take a photo of this.
Yeah, Montreal is really cool. It's a fun city. What's up, Armando? Yeah, Armand from the Denton Camera Exchange just rolled on in.
Hello.
Well, it's been a lot of fun chatting with you. I appreciate you taking
it. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course. I really appreciate you agreeing to be on here and spending some time with me and all the peoples here.
Yeah, it was really fun. Definitely. I love the comment section.
You had a very lively comment section.
I love it. I love this energy. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, we'll have to do a photo walk soon.
Definitely. See, it was not canceled, just postponed.
Exactly. Well, we might do a Northern Film Collective one in August, possibly too, like a bigger one, like when it's a little safer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm down. I'm definitely down.
Appreciate you rolling in. I think I'm gonna make some dinner here, though. It's getting to be about that time. But thank you so much for hanging out with me, and thank you everyone for tuning in. And next week, Jess Hobbs from Quebec is going to be. Yeah, her stuff is fantastic. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to having her on, because she's another Polaroid person as well too. Yeah. So, us Polaroid people are weirdos.
Hey, I'm a weirdo too.
You'll get there.
I'll get there.
Polaroid. I mean, you don't have to have a Polaroid to be a weirdo. Like, but yeah, thank you so much. Brandy says it's so good to see your face. Oh no, you froze again.
Am I still frozen?
Well, okay. Oh no, you're back now. Brandy said it was good to see your face.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, my cat is hiding, but I'm sure he has gotten some love too. Thank you for entertaining the cat
Your cat was
in the
so.
background.
Carolina says the cat goodbye.
Yeah, definitely. Uh,
Awesome. Well, I hope you have a
yeah.
good night, and
You
thanks
too.
everyone, and we'll see everyone next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care, everyone. Bye.